And we are live. What's good, Josh, man? DL Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling? I'm feeling good. I'll tell you that. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling way better, guys. I've been down, 2.5, almost 3 weeks. Um, you know, I just got, I got an old injury that came back, that came roaring back. And boy, I tell you, I was hurting. I was hurting. So I've done maybe one live in the past, 2.5, 3 weeks. Shout out to my man Nick, who came on and was talking about procrastination. So shout out to him. That was last Thursday, I think it was. But Don DeMarco.
It'll be like this.
Uh-oh, that's the wrong button. Wrong button. There we go. Y'all see I get dusty quick. I'm sitting here like looking at it. My labels are fading on my sound effects machine there. I'm gonna have to relabel them so I can read it clearly. But yeah, man, I'm back. I'm feeling good. I am I'd say about 80%, maybe a little better than 80%. I can sleep. I'm well rested. I listened to my doctor's orders. I did a lot of resting over the past few weeks. I took the meds, and I hate taking painkillers. I really do, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But I took everything as prescribed, and now we're just gonna go through the whole follow-up stuff. So it is what it is. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming up for those of you who are into that sort of thing, and Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, and whatever else is coming up. Tis the season. So it's good to see you guys. But hey, man, let's get back to business, man. I haven't been around. We're gonna start talking about some stuff. Today we're not gonna talk politics, but we will later on this week. Today we're gonna be talking about engagement rings, bro. We're gonna be talking about engagement rings, and if you get engaged and you give a woman a ring and you guys break that engagement off for whatever reason, who gets to keep the ring? Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. Indeed. So what's good with y'all, man? Appreciate y'all. Yeah, man. We're gonna talk about that. We got Brother Dino in the building. What's good, fam? How you feeling? I am back on my feet, man. My Thanksgiving was slow motion. I was following doctor's orders. I was resting. I just chilled. I didn't go out until yesterday. I went out to watch my Bengals lose to the Steelers. That was pretty much the end of our season. That's the downside. The good side of that is found a bar here in Tampa, Florida, that is the one bar where all the Bengals fans go to watch games. It was crazy, man. People dressed up, singing the fight song, going crazy, making noise, having a good old time. I mean, so that's, like they say, there's always a silver lining to every cloud. I found it, and I bumped into a friend of mine who I didn't know that was working there. I hadn't seen in a long time, only on social media. So it was good to bump into her. So overall, it was a good day. Got to go out. I was mobile, and all I had was normal aches and pains, no craziness. Got a lot done. So yeah, man. I hope all is well over there where you are, brother. We're definitely going to be talking about what's going on in Europe, Ukraine, Russia. I'm Brother Dino. I'm real curious to hear your take on. Again, not on this show. We're going to talk about later on in the week, but is Russia going to do something about Vladimir Putin? Are they going to take this opportunity? Even, forget about America. Is Europe going to do something about Vladimir Putin? I'm curious to hear your take on that. We got Brother Pablo in the building. What's good, fam? My brother Pablo was saying, I think it depends on who broke off the marriage. We're going to get into that because I do not. I got a different train of thought here. But we're going to get into that. We got a couple videos loaded up here. We got Brother Michael Lee in the building. What's good, fam? Like, DL, my brother, it's been a while. You already know I'm saying just down for recreational use 100%. What's good, fam? And chat, yo, man, thank you, bro. Yeah, I was out, man. I was down. I was medical issues, man. My back was my back is messed up, but for whatever reason, it just went out. It was terrible, a lot of pain. But I'm back now, man. I had to sit down and just rest. I over the past, like I say, 2.5, 3 weeks, I've been literally in bed, like just resting, taking meds, and getting better. And now it's time for the follow up. I'm gonna go do the follow up stuff. Shout out to the Veterans Administration, man. Don DeMarco to the VA, they do good work over there. It is not like when I was younger, the VA was the place where old soldiers went to just, spend their last days. Now that's actually, they got some good people over there. I was pleasantly surprised. They took care of me and they're continuing to take care of me. Now, don't know what that's going to mean moving forward, right? Again, when we start talking political stuff, we're going to be bringing that up because the incoming administration is talking about cutting all sorts of government programs and they want to cut. And I'm here to tell you, the VA is definitely going to get cut. They're gonna go through there and try to hack away, just like Department of Education and all that. We'll get into that later on down the road. But I'm back, man. Good to see you. Appreciate you, man. Like Dino, yeah. When the first time I saw it, when I first saw it, it was like Dino Dinosaur. But I was watching. Very first time I ever saw Brother Dinosaur was just Dino or Dino, and Brother Dinosaur, tell me which one how you want me to pronounce it. But the first time I saw him was on Mandrell's show when Mandrell was doing his show with his sister Shushu, and Mandrell was saying Dino Dinosaur. And the first time I said it, I said Dino. I'm sorry, he was saying Dino Dinosaur. The first time I saw it, I said Dino. But Mandrell kept saying Dino Dinosaur. So I was like, all right, I guess that's how the brother's pronouncing it. So I've been doing that forever, man, forever. So I just assumed it was a thing. So I'm putting it on Mandrell, right? And I'm pretty sure Mandrell will hear this. But yeah, Mandrell was saying that. So I'm like, well, Mandrell is saying Dino Dinosaur, then maybe that's how the brother wants it pronounced. But yeah, I thought it was Dino myself, bro. But I've been doing it because I followed the lead of Brother Mandrell and I never got corrected. So it is what it is. And we'll let Brother Dinosaur tell us however he wants it. And then I could we're definitely gonna have a good conversation about what's going on with Russia, Ukraine. I see what you're saying here about Biden, about allowing Ukraine to use long-range missiles. In my opinion, and we're gonna get into this later, that's not the topic of this show, but in my opinion, the moment we gave bombs, bullets, and band-aids to Ukraine to help them stop the Russians from invading and taking over their country, there should have been no restrictions. Here are the weapons, do what you got to do. But the fact that we restricted them from the beginning, I think that was a mistake. I think that was a mistake. I think that was a Ferrari. They don't have Flintstones quite soon. Okay, cool. Appreciate that, bro. In the Flintstones cartoons. All right, I'm gonna look that up, man. I'm gonna look that up. So that's what it was. That's my take on that. But we're definitely gonna be talking about it in the future. What's going on in Europe. I really think that Europe is gonna make a stand. I think you got Denmark, Finland, you got Poland, you got Norway. Who am I missing? Yeah, Germany, Britain, France, Spain have already, made it clear where they stand on all this. You got some of those former Soviet bloc nations over there that are standing up ready to deal with Putin. And it's not them against the Russians, it's them against Putin. We're gonna see what happens. So we got Miss AK, hey lady in the building. What's good, sis? Who keeping the ring? Me. What kind of question is that? It's a damn good one, and we gonna talk about it. We got Ak Ozzy in the building. What's good, fam? Like, come on, DL. It's like no Boogie Nights back issues, bro. We're gonna get into it, man. Hey, man. I never watched the movie Boogie Nights. I never watched that movie. I'm gonna have to watch it now. I never watched that movie. My back was out, guys. There were points where I couldn't even stand up, bro. I couldn't stand up. I would stand up and then just collapse. And it was like, oh man, it was bad. It was bad. I had to get my brother Jay Swans had to come and actually come get me and take me to the hospital. And it's not like he lives around the corner, man. That's how you got real ones. You got real family, close friends that are right there to come. And my cousin couldn't help me because we had a family emergency back in Cincinnati. So he was gone. He had just left. So Bro, I'm telling you, stress is a real thing. It's a real thing. Yeah, see, here it is. You know, the German prime minister was in Ukraine today. They're still in the fight. Like it is what it is. Thank you, Miss AKA Lady. Appreciate you. And for those who are watching, appreciate you guys. All the DMs and all of the concern. Thank y'all so much for reaching out to me, making sure I'm okay. You know, making sure I wasn't dumped in some ditch somewhere. I got my daughter watching my back here too, so she was taking care of her dad. So it's all good. Like I said, I'm up and running. So now we're gonna get into this, guys. So we're gonna talk more about what's going on in Europe. Later on in the week, we're gonna be talking more politics moving forward in the week. Definitely, probably tomorrow we're gonna be talking about Biden pardoning his his son. Of course, he's gonna do that. We're gonna roll all that up into one good conversation, man, about what's going on. And of course, we're gonna have to talk about the Middle East. There's so much to talk about, guys. But today we're gonna talk about engagement rings. Crazy. And there it is, Brother Mike. Like, yeah, the man should keep the ring since he has to do the proposal. Yeah, and there is a video out here from a local news entity in Massachusetts, I think it is. So that state has actually they have case law now on who gets to keep the ring. So we're gonna pull that up. As a matter of fact, let's pull it up right now. And no time like the present. Let's pull it up right now. So this is CBS Morning Plus. This is their Massachusetts affiliate. But the title of this is Massachusetts Court Rules on Who Keeps Engagement Ring After the Breakup. This is some good stuff right here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Miss AKA, you're right. Sometimes you realize, just having kids, can come in and clutch, especially when they're older. If, I'd have been in a real bind if I had like a toddler or a young kid. I mean, it's like you as a parent, like you can't get sick. You can't get hurt when you got little kids. It's just so much going on. But with big kids, they can help you out. And I had teenagers. She's like, she did a lot. She really helped me out. I'm so glad. I love my little girl. She's there for me. She got my back. So that's what it is. I mean, and your sons could do, like your kids in general, like your son, like your daughters are always going to be there thick and thin. And your sons will come through when they're needed. But it is what it is. But let's check this video out, guys. So we're going to listen to this, guys. I'm gonna let it play all the way through. And then you guys tell me, what you think, what your thoughts are. Let's get into it.
Massachusetts has settled an age-old question. Who should get the engagement ring when the engagement is called off? Bruce Johnson bought a $70,000 Tiffany ring for Caroline Satino, but then during the engagement, things happened, and he says she might have been cheating on him. He ended the relationship. He also says she called him a moron. After that, he sues her, saying, "Oh, I'm going to need that ring back." Now, normally at this point, the courts in Massachusetts would try to figure out who's at blame, at fault for the relationship failing, and then the ring would go to the winner of that fight.
Wow.
But on Friday in Massachusetts, the Supreme Court said, no, the ring should go to the buyer, calling it a gift that, quote, is inherently conditioned on the subsequent marriage. So what do we think? Is that the right call, or should they?
Before she talks Don DeMarco to that court.
Don DeMarco.
100%. That is, when you give someone an engagement ring, that is the promise to be married. That is letting the world know that, hey, that person is spoken for. Y'all about to do y'all thing. Now, something happens and you guys don't make it down the aisle. You don't get to keep it, right? We're talking about a $70,000 purchase. I mean, he went and got a little blue box. This is a dude out there trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to get married. She's the one. I'm gonna get married. Go to Tiffany's. $70K on a ring. Like an amazing, because Tiffany has the best diamonds. You're gonna get flawless cuts and all that kind of stuff, bro. 7. I mean, come on, that's what 2.5 carats, maybe. Probably 2.5 carats. Depending on the stone or whatever, 2 carats, 2.5, somewhere in there, bro. That's like insane. That's insane. It's been a long time. I used to be up on diamonds. I've never been married, but I've been engaged once. And I know a little bit about this. This is why I'm like, I can't wait to talk about it. And again, I will never do that again. I will never, ever do that again. you know, if I were to want to marry a woman and we're gonna get an engagement, I'm gonna get a box of Cracker Jacks and take the ring out of that and put that on her finger, or take a twisty tie. All right, I'm gonna take, where my twisty ties at? I have some oh, here it is. I will take this twisty tie, tie it around her finger, right? And then get, you know, ask her to marry me. And bro, just to see her reaction. And if she really loves you, she's gonna be happy with that twisty tie. You say the ring is a down payment, bro. And the man should absolutely keep it. I'm with you on that. But the court ruled in Massachusetts, like, nah, this is one of those occasions where an engagement ring is dependent upon the actual marriage. So if you don't get married, you got to give it back. Let's listen to the co-host and what she has to say about all this.
They go back to giving the ring to the person who's not at fault for the wedding failing.
I mean, I think that, you know, most, I don't know.
Go back to you and Brian.
When I got the
ring,
I don't know if I would ever give it back. Someone's going to have to, you know, pull it from my cold hands. But I actually like that this is the way it worked out, because it's hard for a court to decide who's at fault. I mean, couples themselves don't know who's at fault. It's a really hard thing to figure out. So I think it's better just to have a blanket rule, give it back to the buyer. As painful as it is to say, I'm sure she loves her ring.
You know, I agree with little Shorty right there. Shout out to her, man. She gets a shout out for that. It didn't work out. You guys aren't getting married. Give it back. Give it back. Now, if the man or the person in that situation who bought the ring says, no, I want you to keep it for whatever reason, that's on that person. But the law should state that the ring goes back to the buyer. Y'all see what I mean about the laws are slowly starting to change. I was in court and I was like, hey, this person has my engagement ring, didn't return it. And the judge, who was a radical, you know, just a misandrous judge, this particular judge actually got in trouble. Like, they got removed from her bench and placed into another court based on the stuff that, you know, she was doing to men. This judge was like, well, is it an heirloom? Is it this? Is it that? And the judge was ruling that I'm not going to order that the other person gives that ring back. You know, and this is California. California law will be the last laws to change on this kind of thing, but it only makes sense that goes back. Like, it only makes sense. It goes back to the buyer. You know, and you're right, diamonds don't hold their value at all, but and a lot of times from this AKA lady, it's not even about the money. Why would you want it? They don't hold their value, but if you got a $70,000 ring, you can easily pawn that thing for half the value. It's $35,000. You know, if you got a $10,000 ring, you probably pawn that thing for, you know, anywhere between 35 and, you know, I mean, maybe $6,500, right? So there is value attached. But yeah, the ring itself that's just another racket. That's why, like I said, I'm gonna take a twisty tie tied around her finger. If she really loves me, she ain't gonna care. She'll keep that twisty tie on her finger, right? Because it means something to her. Like, fellas, I need to understand this. If a woman truly loves you, bro, she doesn't care about the money part. She doesn't care about the big diamonds. She wants you. So you can literally get her a Dick Tracy decoder ring, put it around her finger, and she'll be happy. Now, that thing, if you have one, probably be worth a whole lot of money. A Dick Tracy decoder ring is probably, you know what I mean, like, valuable. But y'all get my point. You can put a little trinket. You can make her something, put it around her finger. She'll love it. If you got a woman who goes crazy, if you try something like that, get mad because you didn't buy her a ring, then, well, you know, hey, you got some thinking to do, bro. Like, is she in this for you or is she in this for the money? But let's listen to what the man had to say about all this. Listen to what he's saying.
I'm sort of sympathetic to her. I mean,
she called him a moron.
Well, allegedly.
What do we think here in the studio? Should she give back the ring? Yeah. No. Oh, everyone's saying no. Why, Pat?
No, yeah, I'm with you.
It was a gift, she says.
I agree. So the courts are saying, I think it's a gift. I think it's a show of love from somebody to somebody. And the courts are saying, no, it's essentially a promissory note. Mm-hmm. And you don't get to keep it until you seal the deal at the wedding.
The right thing to do would be to give it back, I think, for the ring receiver.
$70,000 though. She's a teacher. She's a teacher. This is like 2 years' salary. I mean,
simpleton alert. Whoop, whoop, simpleton alert. She's a teacher. It's $70,000. Give it back. Give it back. That's where I am with it. Cut that out. We don't care. She's a he's a simpleton, right? So ladies, and like, here's the thing. If you run into play, ladies, if you were a guy and you're running to play and, you're doing your thing in the background, you don't really care about this guy, you're just trying to juice him, fine. That means in order to keep the engagement ring, you got to marry him first. So get married. Once you get married, then the court will say, no, that's yours. If you're going to do it, run the play, run the play. Know the rules, run the play. If that's what you're doing. Fellas, it's your job to find out. You need to determine what type of woman you're dealing with. So do the twist tie. I don't care what Miss AKA lady say. Yeah, say DL said to put a twist tie on her finger. Get down on one knee, put a twist tie on her finger, right? And come up with some beautiful words, maybe find a sonnet or write some stuff yourself and say it to her. And if she loves you, she'll keep that thing on her finger. You think I'm playing? If she really loves you. And then, of course, when y'all get married, you should give her the world, bro. When y'all get married and when the ring comes out for you to put the ring on her finger in the ceremony, whatever you're doing, you put a really nice band on her finger, and then you put at least a 2-carat rock on her finger, princess cut, something like that, something just flawless. Put some on there where it's just going to bling. When the sun hit, everybody going to get blinded. If you can get a 5-carat, get a 5-carat, but that's a ton of money. But I'm just saying that put the twisty tie on her finger and you see she happy. And here's the thing, she really loves you. She'll take that ring. She'll wear the wedding band. She'll probably still have that twisty tie on. I'm telling you, man, if a woman loves you, like if she really loves you, she doesn't care about all that. So yeah, don't worry about what Miss AKA lady's talking about. Yeah, DL said put the twisty tie on that finger. But she did say she would give it back though. Let the situation go. Relationship is over. That's fire. I feel you, sis. Give it back. But you got a lot of people out here who are just, we live in a system now, in a society now where, honor just really isn't a thing. No one really has any morals. They're going to go out and do what's best for them. And, a $70,000 ring, she's going to keep it. And it just, in the state of Massachusetts, you can go to court and get her to, return that ring. Simple as that. Now, if you in California, good luck. If you in New York, good luck. And then again, that's where politics comes in. If you're in a blue state, good luck getting it back, a big blue state, like California, New York. But if you're in Texas or Florida or, Tennessee or Kentucky, you're probably going to get it back. And the law is probably going to back it up because that's the right thing to do. And it's a shame that we have to have the law, right, force people to do what's right. But I wouldn't even want that thing. I wouldn't want it. If someone gave me an engagement ring and it didn't work out, or gave me a gift, like let's say that they gave me an engagement gift. Let's say that I give her a ring. And let's say I spent $15,000 on a ring, $20,000 on a ring. I gave her a ring, did the whole thing, got down on one knee and all that. And then she gave me a gift. Let's say she gave me a Rolex or a Cartier, or she gave me, an IWC or something like that, like a really nice watch. Like I went out, let's say I spent $40,000, $30,000 on a ring. She went out and spent the equivalent on a watch. It's like, here's your engagement gift from me. I just want to show you I appreciate you. So she gives me $30,000 worth of stuff. I give her $30,000 worth of stuff. It doesn't work out. I'm going to give her the watch back. Right? She's going to give me the ring back. Now, here's the play. Her watch, if it's a Rolex or some really nice high-end timepiece, her watch is more valuable than that ring. That ring lost its value as soon as I took it out of the ring shop. Just like when you buy a car, it loses value as soon as you drive it off the lot. That watch is going to hold its value and probably go up depending on what type of watch that she gave you. Right. And what's funny about that is in the court, they're like, well, it's not the same as an engagement ring, blah, blah. I guess in Massachusetts, they would look at it and think it's equal. And they might say, well, that's equal value initially. So, y'all could do whatever. You keep the ring. He keeps the watch. The guy, the person with the watch will win because it worth more. But at the end of the day, if I were in that situation, I gave her a ring, let's say $30,000 ring. She gave me a $30,000 watch. For whatever reason, we didn't get married. I would absolutely give her watch back. I would absolutely give her watch back. And depending on what happened with the engagement, who knows why it ended. Let's say it ended because her parents or her family did something was just too bad. Can't deal with it. I'm not going to ask you to leave your family for me. Let's just not get married. In that case, I probably would say keep the ring. Because I still love you. I ain't mad at you, baby. It ain't nothing like that. Keep the ring. But if it's something like that, like you was banging one of my homeboys at your bachelorette party, or you talking to my people talking about how you running, I'm gonna run his pockets, I'm gonna get him for this and this and that. It's all a play. Yeah, give me the ring back. Give me the ring back. Here go your watch. So I mean, it is definitely, it is what it is. You're right. Identify the red flags. Absolutely. And Brother Michael's like, D, she has to earn it, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah. And I think part of earning it is putting on that twisty tie or putting on that little toy ring or whatever you put on her finger. I think that's part of it. You want to see how she views you. Come on now, let's just keep it 100. We are living in a world where people are trying to get what they can, everything they can. So you're going to have to, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're going to have to, I don't hate to say it. It's the fact. You're going to have to test it. You're going to have to test and just be sure that that's the woman. I'm not saying have one of your homeboys call her up and try to smash. I'm not trying to say do that. If you're dealing with a woman that you think will go smash some other guy because has a Lamborghini or he's like really buffed or whatever, then you with the wrong woman anyway. If you're thinking that you need to, loyalty test her in that manner, get someone like Austin Dunham or somebody to loyalty test her, you with the wrong woman. I mean, that's my thing. I've had guys come up to me and say this kind of things like, hey, she'll be at this spot, man. This is what she's gonna be. Here's a picture of her. Hey, won't you see if you can chat her up, man? See if you can smash or whatever, and then let me know. I'm like, bro, if you believe that guys are able to walk up to her and she's gonna choose these dudes, then why are you with her? Why you need someone to test it? If that's what you believe inside that she's out here doing this, why are you with her, homie? Are you telling me where she at? Why is she in this club? Why is she over here in this lounge? Why is she popping bottles? Right? You already know what time it is. So if you're dealing with a woman, the loyalty testing, I think, is done. But once you get a woman, it's a good woman, you want to be with her, you want to marry her, I wouldn't just give her the engagement ring. I would see how she acts when I give her something that's valueless, but it means something to me. Like, this is for me. Right? I've had girls give me, those little keychains with like a little panda, little stuffed animal, whatever. I've had girls give me stuff like that, here and there in my life. And you know what? Those little stuffed animals meant so much to me because she was just thinking about me. She was out. She was like, I was thinking about you. It was, the one girl gave me, it was a koala. And the reason she did it, we saw koala bears at the zoo or something. We went to the zoo, we saw koala bears. And then like 6 months after that, she came to the crib and she gave me, like, she just had this little koala bear sitting on top of my wallet when I woke up in the morning. And she wasn't even there. Right. And a little bitty note that says, you're my koala. Right. And I was just like, well, I clipped that thing on like whatever I was wearing. I had it clipped around. If I was wearing a chain, it'll be clipped around that. Or if I had like clip it into like one of the buttonholes in my shirt, clip it, just be wearing it, or I have it hanging in the car. Right. I kept that thing, man, that little koala thing, man. I kept that, bro. That meant a lot to me. Like she was thinking about me. Right. This was a good woman. She never cheated. She wouldn't even like that. She went about that life. Right. This is one, this is one who I actually cleared the rotation for. I was just messing with her. I stopped messing out, and she was cool with me having a rotation. But, this was her way of adding value and showing how down she was. I got rid of the rotation. She didn't ask me to. It was just because of the way she was rocking. Right. And it didn't work out because of me. I look back on it as an old man, like, damn, that was a good woman. That I really let a good woman get away. She wound up getting married, had a couple kids, whatever. She's doing her thing. She's great. She's grandma now. Like, she's doing her thing. Right. We still cool. But I'm like, man, I messed that up. But that little koala thing, man, I'm here to tell you, bro. That little koala thing, I was like, yeah, if I wanted to marry her, I absolutely would have bought her the best ring I could afford. I absolutely would have done that. You know what I mean? And then look, Miss Kayla, he's like, look, if it gets caught off because you did me dirty, you're going to have to go to court and get this. Hey, look, that's what they're going to do then. I wouldn't want it, like, I don't know. Even if the woman gave me a watch a very expensive watch, and I caught her cheating or whatever, I'm still gonna give her watch back. I ain't gonna trip. You know what I mean? Like then she'll bust down recreational use. It is what it is, man. But if you find yourself a good one, it takes time. You do what you got to do. You do your due diligence, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to take that leap of faith. But I wouldn't go out and buy him a $70,000 engagement ring. I'm telling you, I'll use a twisty tie. Like I said, I've done it. I went out there, bought a really nice ring, spent a bunch of money. I forget how much I spent, but it was definitely over $5,000. Spent a bunch of money on a ring. No, I think it was closer to 10 grand. And now that I think about it, it was closer to 10,000. Spent a bunch of money on a ring, and it was just the wrong thing to do. It was just dumb. So we know as men that the system works against us. Right? We know as men, like it just doesn't make sense to really participate in this, right? So we have a video lined up here. Professor Scott Galloway, one of my favorite dudes out here, talks about this, and he says why 70% of divorce filings are by women. It's 70 to 80% depending on where you're getting your numbers. But dudes need to realize that the game has changed to a point where you really have to vet these women. There's people out here, especially if you're successful, you really have to vet. You got to vet these women, bro. You gotta. I'm telling you, man. Twisty tie. Go buy the engagement ring, but don't give it to her. Give her the twisty tie. See how she acts, man. Take her to Golden Corral every now and then. See how she acts, bro. Tell her you don't have the money to go buy the bottles or do whatever. See if she covers it. There are a lot of women who will. Just test the waters, bro. Test the waters. Like, see what's going on, because there are people out here who see you as a come up. They see you as the bag, right? They might, it's like, well, look, if I'm gonna settle for this guy, this is a good settle for me because he has this nice house and he takes these nice trips and whatever. He drives the nice car. He likes to take me out to nice meals. Bro, y'all need to be real careful, man. And then to marry a woman, you go into a system where if it doesn't work, and we know 50% of marriages fail in America, that's the accepted number, is going up. I think Michael Certain was saying it's something like 54 to 56% of marriages now are failing. First-time marriages are failing. So think about that. Going in that we accept that half the time is going to fail. 1 in 2 marriages fail. We accept that. And then, if you're the guy, if you're the person who has more, bro, you're going to lose quite a bit. You're going to lose quite a bit for whatever reason. But let's listen to what Professor Galloway has to say.
70% of divorce filings are filed by women. We have a tendency to stereotype women as being these doughy victims that have no agency, and men as like dopey predators, right? It's Marge Simpson, incredibly high character, never makes a mistake, and it's Homer Simpson, who is an idiot, but deep down an okay guy. And the whole all life is Homer coming over his idiocy, while Marge is just this incredibly high character person. And I can statistically prove that there's a lot of good women and there's a lot of good men, and there's some bad women and some bad men. But women, I believe, and we don't like to talk about this openly and honestly, value economic security more in a mate than men do. 75% of women say that economic viability is a key criteria in a mate. For men, it's only 25%.
Wanting the woman to make money or have security.
Or that it's important.
I mean, the relationship.
Yeah. In some, women are much more attracted to a man because of his financial security than a man would be to a woman because of her financial security. And then it gets speedball and online dating, which is where everyone is meeting now. And the problem is that people don't give each other enough chance, especially, quite frankly, women who, if you talk to married couples, 75% of them will say that initially one was less attracted or interested in the other. And it's almost always that the woman was less attracted to the man. Women have a much finer filter than men because the downside of sex is much greater for women. And they have a much stronger instinct to find someone who can protect their young. And so they are much choosier than men.
And we hear this over and over again on the red pill side of the world, right? We hear this all the time, and it makes sense. It's the way we're programmed. And what they say is that lizard brain. Even though we live in a modern time, these things that we have now are fairly brand new. Like you have a woman who, if a woman gets pregnant in America, right? Society is going to protect her. Society is going to provide for her. Society is going to make sure that she gets whatever she needs for her and her family, right? Be it a strong man that comes to the door to protect her if she has, someone giving her a hard time. She's going to have access to some education. She's going to have access to healthcare. She's going to have access to childcare, right? Women are taken care of by our society apparatus. That's what's going on. But that's a new thing. Back in the day, you go back 100 years or so or more, you had a kid with the wrong dude, you were jeopardizing your life and the lives of your children. You got the wrong dude, it could be a problem. So it's programmed in there. Right? So women are going to be more choosy. Absolutely. Women, like guys care more about looks. Dudes looking when it comes to mate selection, and if she's fine, that's pretty much all he needs. Fit, friendly, and feminine, bro. He's good to go. But women need way more, especially women who are making more. Well, you would think that, well, okay, it's about to be 2025. You're dealing with a woman who's making $300,000, $400,000 a year. Well, she doesn't necessarily need a man who's going to make a lot of money. Bullshit. She's going to want a dude who's making as much as she's making or more. She's still going to want better. And that's the problem in the modern era. And then you add technology to it, social media to it, and all this other kind of stuff. Bro, I'm telling you, when I'm out here in the trenches and I'm seeing what's going on out here, I think it's bad for women. It's bad for women. So you have the I don't need a man, the independent boss babe thing meets today's man who is like, I'm over it. Right? It's funny to watch. And then women are still competing and these dudes are just sitting back. If you're a dude and you're up there and you're doing good, you're in the top 15 percentile, the world is yours, bro. Women are literally throwing themselves at you. And what do they use? What do they have? Sex. They're going to use their sexuality to throw that at you, to try to win you over. And that's not going to work, ladies. You need to be the woman who's also going to have that koala bear that she gave to her man. And just because, hey, I was thinking of you. It works. You need to be that woman who's looking out for his best interest. Like, baby, I know you got plenty of money, but we don't have to go to, you name the restaurant or you name the event. We don't have to do that tonight. We don't. Like, if you want to go, that's fine, but we don't have to go spend $2,500 tonight. We can just hang out. I'll cook you something. I'll make that lasagna you like so much. You like my lasagna. I'll make your lasagna. We can sit here, watch a movie, watch some YouTube or whatever. Right? That's the woman you want. Ladies, that's how you get the guy. That's how you get him. Dr. B in the building. What's good, fam? Bro, good to see you, man. I'm back, man. I was down, man. We're still trying to figure out exactly what's going on with my back. But we were able to take care of it, man. I'm up and about. Like I said, I'm 80% or better right now, and continue to improve. But bro, I was hurt, man. I was given a shot of steroids in the emergency room, and I was prescribed painkillers and muscle relaxants. I don't remember exactly what drug it was. I got it downstairs, bro. But man, the muscle relaxants was funny. It was a treatment that came in a box, and I had to take, I think it was 12. So you had to take 6 on the first day, then like 5 on the second day, and then went all the way down to 1. And I took them as prescribed. It was like, you had to pop them open. It was like the old school. I don't even know how to describe it, but anyway, it's, you had to, it came in one little sheet, and it told you what to take on what day, how many to take, and what times a day to take them. And I had that, and I had the I had the painkillers. Bro, I was hurting, but I'm good now. I'm on my feet. I'm moving around. I'm walking more, and probably next week I'm going to try to, like do some little things, like maybe do some exercise, kind of work with my back, because my muscles and everything is strong. We're just trying to figure out why my back went out like it did, man. But it's good to see you, bro. Really good to see you, man. Those drugs were, I don't like taking drugs, and I take the bare minimum. I needed them. But boy, oh boy, man, those painkillers, bro, they definitely took the pain away. I'm here to tell you. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. The red pill talks about this all the time, man. Scott Galloway is not a part of the manosphere. He's not, that's not someone you're going to find when you go down the red pill rabbit hole. He is just a guy out here who is seeing what I'm seeing and is in a position to put the word out there. Right. So these divorces and what's going on and how men are being treated, it's good to hear it from Scott Galloway. He was certainly on the left side of the spectrum. Let's continue.
So guys are driven by aesthetics initially online, but they're less choosy. Oh, she looks cute, or she looks nice, or she looks like she works out. Swipe right, swipe right, swipe right. Women are choosier. In addition, we have this unfortunate trend in society where young men are falling further faster than in any time in history, and women, generally speaking, mate socioeconomically horizontally and up. I'm sorry, women mate horizontally and up socioeconomically, men horizontally and down. And the pool of men horizontal and up is shrinking. Meanwhile, and this is wonderful, no group of people has ascended faster globally than women. There are more women seeking tertiary education now than men globally. And when you look at some nations don't like women going to college, that's a remarkable stat. The number of women elected to parliament globally, the elected body, has doubled in the last 30 years. There are more women, single women in the US now that own homes than single men. There's going to be potentially nearly 2-to-1 female to male college grads in the next 5 years.
Wow.
And by the way, we don't want to do anything that gets in the way of that. That's amazing. But what we also have to acknowledge is that if we don't figure out a way to produce more economically and emotionally viable young men, we're going to have a lack of household formation. Because regardless of the Hallmark Channel movie you see, women, generally speaking, aren't interested in men who aren't aren't socioeconomically at the same level or superior to them.
Interesting.
We talk about it all the time, invisible men. Women don't see most men. So you got women coming out here doing way better than women have done prior to them. Again, like you said, we don't want to do anything to change it. That's great. Women, I'm glad y'all out there killing it. This is amazing. But if hypergamy is a thing, and I believe it is, and if women do in fact look socially, economically, horizontally, and up, they want men on their same level and above. If that's what they're looking at, and she's in the top 15%, there's not a lot of men to pick from, right? And this is when you get into that, the shows like Fresh and Fit and whatever podcast, when they point this out, right? You guys are competing for, the best of the best. You guys are overlooking 85% of men out there, and you're competing over the top 15. And of the top 15% of those guys, how many guys are out there single, looking to be in a relationship, heterosexual men that are available and want to get down? Bro, those dudes have all the power. You got all these women coming after them because men don't care. Like, men will date a woman, like you said, who's just attractive, she's fit, she's fine. I could be driving through Burger King or driving through Starbucks or wherever and just see a beautiful woman dropping fries at McDonald's, or see a beautiful barista making my coffee or whatever, which I don't drink coffee, so it'll probably be like a hot chocolate. You know what I mean? Whatever it is I'm getting. And she's fine and she's beautiful and she has a nice smile and she's friendly. And it's like, yo, what's up? Let's get together. Let's go out. And she says, yes, that's it. That's all a dude needs. But there is no dude that's going to have a woman see him, stacking the shelves at Walmart, or, cleaning the floor in the bathroom at their favorite nightclub, and be like, oh, you're a handsome, strong, strappy fella. Why don't you let me take you out, sir? That's not going to happen. Now, if the dude has game, he can overcome his place in society. He can overcome that with his game. Because he can, sit there and just hit her with the holla, 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 and she falls for it. All right, I've seen that. I've seen that a bunch of times. That does happen. But she ain't trying to marry dude. She's not trying to, because in her mind, she's like, I don't want to take care of this man. I ain't taking care of no man. I could do bad all by myself or whatever they say. I ain't taking care of no man. Well, it's like, well, dang on, baby. What do you want? Like, this dude, the perfect mate for you, perfect fit for you. He's going to do everything he needs to do to protect you, but you're not going to talk to him because he's not making $350,000 a year. It's not very many people who are. And this is how it works, right? This is how it works. Ladies, the more success you have, the harder it's going to be for you to lock down a dude. Y'all keep going after the same guys, and you're competing with all the other ladies. So you get mad at the dude because he's smashing all the chicks. He's smashing all the chicks because they all throwing it at him. I see it all the time. I'll just be posted up somewhere like, wow, I can't believe this woman is literally throwing herself at this guy. Because in her mind, she's thinking, well, we'll have sex and then, my sex is the best sex ever and he'll be with me. Like, nah, baby. Like, you were number 3 that day for that dude. He had a really good week. And he's not going to marry you, but he'll smash you all day, all night. You know what I mean? Dusto's in the building. What's good, fam? Scam likely. So, ladies, this is just something you got to look at. This is what the manosphere talks about. It is what it is, but let's continue.
Oh, there's all kinds. When the woman starts making, or the wife in the relationship starts making more money than the man, the guy is 3 times more likely to be on erectile dysfunction drugs.
Really?
And a lot of that is his own issue, his own weird sense of masculinity and his own insecurity.
I didn't know that.
But again, those 70% of divorce filings filed by women, we never want to have an honest conversation about this, right? Because anything that in any way might portray one sex as not being our vision of how the sex is portrayed in media means you're anti-women. I don't think that's true at all. 70% of those divorce filings, and the number one source of that divorce filing, there's really 3 things. He has an emotional breakdown, he loses his business, or he declares bankruptcy.
That's the biggest cause for women wanting to file for a divorce.
When he's no longer a viable provider.
Wow.
Notice he didn't say anything about cheating. When the money stops flowing, when he's not the provider anymore, he's not doing what he was doing from the beginning. He lost it. He stumbled. He lost his business. Right? Let's say, these athletes go through this a lot. You got these guys, pro athletes or whatever, actors and this and that. They're doing really good. They're killing all this money, and then they can't do that anymore, and the money goes down. Right? So it's like, bam, your net worth was, 450 million. You had to walk away from whatever sport that was or whatever it is you were doing. You're not, you're not viable in the industry anymore as much. So now your net worth has gone down to 50 million. Man, that's still a whole lot of money, but there'll be women who will walk away from you because you can't just jump on the private jet and go to Miami anymore. You just can't jump on a first class, 747 flight or Airbus flight over to the Maldives anymore. You can't go out to the best restaurants every single day, every single night, 3, 4 times, 4, 5, 6 times a week or more. You don't have the private chef, right? You had to downsize. So you're not living in the big house anymore. You had to sell some of your property. So you don't have the condo anymore. No more helicopter flights for dinner, right? Because it's a big jump. You're going from, $500 million or so down to 50 million. That's a big jump. That's a big jump down. And there are women who are like, nope, I want the absolute best. Now, there are women out there who don't care about these sort of things. There are. And that's what he's saying. There are a lot of good women out there. There's a lot of good dudes out there. Right. But then there's some people out there, there's some bad actors on both sides. Right. So 70 to 80%. Look, and scam. This is Professor Scott Galloway. This guy is not red pill, nowhere near it. No, he's not in that, not him, not this guy. This guy, this guy right here, Professor Scott Galloway, right? He is politically, I would definitely say he's on the, liberal side. This is a guy who's been through the divorce thing or whatever, but he's just putting the information out there, bro. I didn't know that thing about the erectile dysfunction. I've been with a lot of wealthy women in my day. I never had to take blue pills. I don't get that. But to his point, he was like, that's on him. That's the man. Yeah, I could, there's a lot of dudes out there like you have a problem being with a woman who is wealthy. I don't have a problem being with women who are wealthy. I don't have a problem at all. Right. And if it comes to a point where I don't want to do something and they try to use that wealth to pressure me or get me to do something I don't want to do, or they start talking crazy like, I bought you this, I bought you that, I did this, that. Okay, cool. You just walk away. I ain't mad. Yeah, you just walk away. That was fun while it lasted. You just walk away. But you got dudes who can't do that. You got dudes, for whatever reason, they got to be the guy. I've seen dudes go out here like the man, they got bread, they doing this and that, and then they come across a woman who is, 1,000 times wealthier than they are. Trust me, those women are out there. And then a guy, guys think he's doing hot, he's doing good because he's making $150,000 a year. He bumps into a woman who's making, around base pay $625,000 with bonuses somewhere around $2.6 million a year every year. Some years are better, depending on the bonuses, but that baseline, that baseline doesn't change. This is like, yeah, I just got another increase to my baseline. So now I'm up to $500,000 a year, whatever, $600,000 a year, whatever. And then the bonuses or whatever happens with the bonuses. They come across women like that and their game falls apart because their whole game was based on the fact that they had the money, they had the perceived leverage. Now you're dealing with a woman who is doing things you can't do, going places you can't afford to go. And she's like, oh, no, it's fine. You can come with me. Like, yeah, we're about to, hey, I'm going to New York. Can you get off? He's like, well, I can get off. Well, come on, let's go to New York. She takes you to Fort Lauderdale Executive, right? And then y'all jump on the Citation 10 and fly to New York. And you're sitting there stunned, like, oh my goodness, she got you clutching the pearls. Like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? And their game fall apart because the core of their game was just having money. Now the money's gone and they don't know how to deal with that. I've seen dudes fall apart and I've seen dudes who had nothing still thrive because their game is not based on that. Their game is based on them. They're like, I'm the man, whatever. I'm supposed to be on this private jet. Nah, she got it. You got those dudes. So, I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, it's 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And he's saying that of those, like the top, the top issues are financial. I'm telling you, bro, everybody keeps saying like, oh, she left you because he was cheating. She cared less about the cheating part. When women at that level leave a very successful dude, they leave because the dude ain't making as much money. Miss AKA lady. It's like, you don't have to make $300,000 a year to take care of yourself. If a man can't stand on his own 2 feet, how is he going to guide me? He can't even figure out your own life. Yeah, properly. Yeah, I'm not listening. I mean, I hear you. I'm not mad. I mean, I don't have a problem with hypergamy. I don't have a problem with women who want the absolute best. I don't have a problem with a woman who's like, I'm not going to deal with a guy if he's not on my level. But you got to understand something. Look at Lisa Ray. What's the name of the other one? This, 60 years old now, talking about she's ready to get married. She was in Independence Day or whatever. What's her name, y'all? I can't think of her name, but you got her, you got Lisa Ray, you got these women out here, you got J-Lo, you got these women out here who are extremely successful financially. Lonely. So, and I had this conversation with women all the time. I'm like, well, if you got it and he's a good guy, yeah, Vivica A. Fox, thank you, sis. If you got it and he's a good guy, he's perfect for you guys. You guys are a good pairing. He's the perfect significant other. Why does he have to make as much as you? But to Mrs. AKA lady's point, like he doesn't have to make $300,000 a year. But my question to you, love, is if he's making $35,000 a year and he's living pretty good, like he's in Florida making $35,000 a year, he has a small house, maybe that, he got his house willed to him from his parents who are no longer around, so he could pay the taxes. He has the house. He's making $35,000 a year. He's living within his means, taking care of himself, doing good. Right? A lot of women will overlook that man because he's only making $35,000 a year. He can't afford to buy me he can't afford to buy me an Hermes Birkin, or he can't afford to buy me some Louboutins or whatever, or buy himself that and this and that. He doesn't want any of that. But he's a good guy. He's a great man. Right? So, like, it is what it is. Like, women don't want to go back in lifestyle. That's the point. That's yeah. Yeah, bro. That is a fact. That is a fact. And there's some women who don't care about that sort of thing. I'm telling you, I know some people who have been married. I talk about Jay Swans and his, his beautiful wife, my sister, Naya, my queen Naya. and they do great. They have no problems going up and like upsizing and downsizing and doing what they need to do is best for them and their family. They have no problems doing that. You have some people that only go one way, and they will risk everything and ruin the family just to go that way. So again, it depends on who you choose. You know, it depends on who you choose. Yeah, brother Pablo. Yeah, bro. Everyone does. There's always some hot chicks, especially in your part of the country, bro. Especially in your part of the country. You can always find beautiful woman dropping fries or making your drinks at Starbucks, man. It just be like, fine. We got brother Pitney in the building. What's good, fam? Please like the video. Please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, man. Suzette Speaks told me a long time ago when I first started. This must have been like within my first 6 months. We were talking and she said, she like, DL, don't look at subscribers, man. Those numbers going to go up and down. Don't look at subs. Don't worry about that. Just stay engaged with your people. You're going to have your folks who rock with you. Stay engaged with your people. So shout out to Suzette for sharing that information because she was 100% Don DeMarco to her.
Dom DeMarco.
She was 100% on point. I need to reach out to Suzette. I haven't talked to her in a while. I know she has her radio show down in the Miami area. It might be Fort Lauderdale, but somewhere down in South Florida. And I know she was doing a lot of work with the Democratic Party down there. I want to reach out and talk to her. Hopefully we can get her on here. Sister Shushu is waiting to come on the show. We just got to lock in the dates. And we got some really cool guys. We're going to some good conversations. Trust me, we got some guys coming up. I'm going through my phone now, but there's people I've been reaching out to, and we're just gonna have some good conversations, y'all. Some really good conversations. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So women need to understand times have changed. And if you're making all this money and you're doing really, really great, there are not going to be very many men above you doing better than you that you will find attractive and want to link up with. $35,000 is not doing well. It is if you own your home. It is. $35,000 is just if that's you're living the life that you want to live, you're doing all right. If you have no debt, you have a home, you're in a nice neighborhood, you have, well, like your home is going to be today, that house, here's in the scenario I gave you, the guy's in a decent neighborhood where the house is probably worth over $500,000, $450,000, $500,000. You're making $35,000 a year. You're making enough to pay your taxes. Like you're doing your thing. If you get yourself into a bind, instead of putting it on a credit card, you just go out and drive Uber. Your car is paid for, right? You're a mechanic, so you can maintain your own vehicle. There are a lot of dudes out here that are making it in parts of Florida, Ohio, Tennessee, Kentucky at $35,000 a year. They're getting it. I'm just trying to tell you, if you're trying to live a crazy life, right? If you're trying to live that, that you're trying to be Mr. Big, now you're gonna need more than 35,000. You know what I mean? If you're trying to do that, but if you happy, you got a place to live, right? You're good to go. Like you're respecting your community. You're doing your thing. What's wrong with 35,000? You know what I mean? Definitely shout out to Suzette Speaks. Definitely. Can't wait to get her on. So, if we can get her on, I know she's really, really busy, but I'm definitely going to reach out to her. In fact, I haven't talked to Sister Suzette in so long. I need to just reach out to her and say hello, just to see how she's doing. It's the holiday season and stuff like that. Do that, guys. Reach out to your people, whoever they may be. Reach out to your people. Just to see how they're doing. We get bogged down with in our world. And we forget, just to kind of, hey, what you doing? How you doing? So kind of do that. And Brother Michael Lee has a 100% right there. That's a Don DeMarco statement. If I ever heard one right there, bro, shout out to you for that.
Dom DeMarco.
It's not what you make, it's how you spend it. There are people out there who don't earn a lot of money annually, but they're in a good place in life. They're doing all right. They're doing just fine. Right? But they will get overlooked. Right? They will get overlooked. And I tell dudes like this, just make sure you got your game. These guys, I know guys who just wreck shop. It is what it is, sis. It is what it is. Yeah. And it's insanely rare. I don't know. Here's the thing. Americans live under crushing debt. America's biggest problem right now is we spend like our government, and everyone is broke. Everyone's house poor. Everyone's, relying on the market and interest rates and this and that. And it's all about to come tumbling down. Right? Those people out there who are living within their means, they can care less what the interest rates are. They can care less what's going on with Wall Street. Right? Even if you got a home, let's say your house is $450,000 in value, and that value gets cut by 50%, they don't care because they're not borrowing against the house. They don't owe anything. So, I mean, I don't know, it is rare, but it happens. And I think there are a lot of Americans out there who, especially the youngins, like the millennials coming up, and these youngins, they're staying in the house. They're staying at home with their parents longer. They're, buying these mini homes. They're house hacking. It's been a shift. People are coming away from the crushing debt. You know what I mean? The average person making $35,000 is stressed because they got a lot of credit card debt. But if you got a guy who's making $35,000, he has no kids, he has a home that's paid for, that has value, right? And he's handy. That guy ain't stressed about nothing. He's not stressed about nothing. This is to what Brother Michael Lee is saying. All right, he's living within his means. It's not how much you make, but how you spend it. Simple, simple, simple. I know people out here making, $200,000-$300,000 a year, and the broke is a joke because they keep trying to get the next thing. They keep trying to get the next thing. So, it is what it is. Let's continue.
Down, he loses his business, or some story declares bankruptcy.
That's the biggest cause for women wanting to file for a divorce.
When he's no longer a viable provider.
Wow.
People think it's values or infidelity. It's not. It's almost always related to money.
See?
Money creates kind of opportunistic infection. It's sort of like there's just more likely, and most anger, most households coming apart, financial stress usually is creating the context of anger and
the underlying issue behind why is someone's resentful or angry or stressed or overwhelmed.
It lowers the immunity system of everybody around the household.
Wow.
So
when a woman is with a man that makes less than them, can they truly be sexually turned on and feel emotionally safe as well?
I think so. But the data shows it's not as easy. Guys can find and partner with. Guys have no trouble being attracted to a woman who is not financially secure. Now, some men are, like that. I'm making huge reductive generalizations here, but there's some data around this. Women, if you're on Tinder and you're a guy who's making $80,000 and is 5'9", I'm sorry, making $130,000 and you're 5'9", you're as attractive to a woman as a guy who's 6'2", making $80,000. So it's about $10,000 per inch. So everyone talks about
$10,000 per inch. You guys hearing this? Again, there's data out there, right? I've never met a woman that I thought was unattractive, and then someone told me, "Oh, she's worth $50 million," and I'm like, "Ooh, I gotta have her." Never. Like, oh, she's worth $50 million, man. She's still fat. She's worth $50 million, man. She still got a horrible attitude. There's nothing about her that's gonna make me want to be with her because she has more money. Now I know a lot of women who I've introduced to guys, and there's just kind of like no real interest there. Like they're not mean, they're not anything, just kind of chilling, whatever. And then they find out that guy is worth $10 million, $50 million, and their interest is peaked. Now he's not as ugly. Now the fact that he is 5'8" doesn't seem to bother her as much. Now she's wants to find out. Like, so, hey, how you doing? What's going on with you? Now she's interested in having a conversation. And people, a lot of folks would be like, oh, she's a gold digger. Brother Michael Lee is going to be like, oh, rec use only. But the fact still remains, right? She wasn't interested in the guy at all until she figured out, or someone told her, like, that's the man. He's worth a lot of money. He's very successful. He's this, he's that, or famous. See a lot of that in LA. Oh, that guy he's the producer of this show, director of that show. Very, very, like he's a cool kid. Changes everything. Changes the way she sees that guy. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily work the other way around. I've never, as a man, been more attracted to a woman because she's wealthy and stable financially. Never. I've never been more attracted to a woman because she has a title. Never. Never. You know, I've never been like, oh, I really want to meet her because she has a bunch of letters in front of her name or behind her name. Never. Never, never, never.
Height,
Uh-huh.
your ability to signal. Women are attracted, generally speaking, the research shows, to men based on 3 reasons. The third is kindness. They don't want someone who's going to be a good person. They're impressed by men who are good to their parents and kind and go out of their way to help people when there's no reciprocal expectation. The second is intelligence, because the smarter you are, the more likely you are to make good decisions and protect your family's offspring. And by the way, the fastest way to communicate intelligence is humor. I've always said, if you can make a woman laugh, you can kiss her.
Wow.
And then the most important thing, though, to women, and people don't like to admit this, is the man's ability to signal future resources. It's not even he has to be rich now, but he has to have his act together such that he looks like he will be a decent provider.
You hear that a million times. Is he ambitious? Right? You've seen this on Fresh and Fit. You've heard this on whatever. You've seen this on mainstream media. They'll talk about a guy and then, you know, well, I mean, if he's ambitious, so it doesn't matter that, okay, today he's only worth, you know, negative $50,000, but he's working hard. He has access to the right circles. He's meeting the right people. And in her mind, she's like, yeah, you know, 3 to 5 years, this guy probably be making $200,000-$300,000 a year, i.e. the guys who are like putting themselves through night school to be doctors or be lawyers or whatever. You know, these guys out here in tech, people like Elon Musk. You know, Elon Musk was just like this nerdy dude. I remember my people was telling me about Elon. This was when the governor, Schwarzenegger, was governor of California. You know, we were just having lunch or whatever. It's like, yeah, this weird dude came in there. His name was Elon, and he was saying all this stuff about he wanted to do whatever. Like, and she was giving me like the real tea, like the real sauce. You know, next thing I know, I look up and that guy, that weirdo dude, I'm like, hey, this one wealthiest man on the planet. I'm like, yo, years later, I'm like, is this the guy you was talking about back then? Da, da, da. Yeah, that's him. It's like the richest man in the world right now. Right? He's ambitious. Right? He has promise. Women, there's nothing wrong with women wanting dudes who can provide. This is why, guys, you got to be the best version of yourself. You got to get out here and get after it. Right? How you handle the bad times, how you handle adversity. You got to get out here and turn it around. And then when you do turn around, you get on top, you know, how you move when you're on top. Right? That's going to dictate, you know, what type of woman you want to be with. So you got some dudes out here who'll be wilding out all the way, just throwing the money anywhere. And then when that money runs out, now you're back on the bottom again. Are those women going to be there for you? Probably not. You can't get mad at them for that. But if you got that woman who was with you in the gym when you were taking practice shots, like my brother always says, she's feeding you balls, she's running down and getting rebounds and feeding you so you can work on that three, right? She's standing right there with her hands up, even though she's, you know, she's little, but she's right there in the lane so you can work on that spin move, work on that fadeaway shot or whatever, right? She's helping you pull out the chairs and stuff so you can do what you got to do. That woman's going to be with you no matter what. That's the woman you want. You know what I mean? Look at Brother Scams calling Scott Galloway a quack. Nuh-uh, bro. First time I ever saw Scott Galloway, man, the only time I'd ever seen Scott Galloway was on mainstream media up until recently. It was mainstream media. You see him on Bill Maher's show. You know, you see him on, you know, like The View. You see him on whatever. He was doing mainstream media, very liberal, very, you know, a lot of people hear his message and they get upset. I don't know why. The truth is the truth. Like, it is what it is. So, nah, man, he's definitely not pandering to YouTube because he doesn't move like that. He does have a podcast he does with his grad students. You know, he's a professor, so he talks finance, but he's not pushing anything. I've never sat down and watched an entire episode of the podcast. I think it's called Professor G something, but it's run by his grad students. He just talks about, you know, what they think the economy is going to be doing and this and that and whatever. But when he's talking about relationships, and in particular when he's talking about men, I don't believe he's pandering, bro. But I mean, I could be wrong. But I don't think he's pandering. And this dude is I want to say that he's in the Ivy League. No, it's New York. It's the school in New York, NYU. Like he's a professor. He's tenured NYU. He's published Like this dude, this is the guy with a bunch of letters in front of his name, well respected, certainly not a quack. He's far from that. But maybe you stumble onto something that I didn't. From what I can tell, this dude is well respected in academic circles. He's done work in Cambridge and all that, Oxford. Like, he's very travel. He does a lot of this stuff. In fact, I think he's currently living in London, if I'm not mistaken. It's like, so the $35,000 guys are somehow crypto investors with real estate and $300K a year. I'm not talking about those dudes. You got those dudes out there who are chasing the brass ring. I ain't talking about those dudes. I'm talking about the guy who's making $35,000 a year, living on a family farm. He's still out there doing his thing, maybe raising some livestock or whatever. Like I said, he doesn't have any debt. And he's just doing his thing, right? There's guys here that I bumped into in Tampa. You don't catch them in the strip clubs. You don't catch them in the nightclubs. Right, you catch these dudes like at political events. Sometimes you catch these dudes at like softball games and stuff like that, and they're just hanging out, having a good time. Right, you catch these dudes at the auto parts store. They're in there buying stuff for their car. I'm talking about those dudes. The guys you're talking about are out there. You know what I mean? And yeah, brother. Yeah, like you said, just like the Flintstones, Dino the dinosaur. So I'm gonna have to find a sound effect for you, bro, for Dino the dinosaur. I think I got one in mind. I'm gonna find one for. I'm gonna get it loaded up in here. But Scott Galloway is in a relationship, if I'm not mistaken, bro. I could be wrong. But I think he's in a relationship. I know he's been married and divorced and all that kind of stuff. But he's just pointing out some facts, bro. I like listening to what he has to say. Brother Pablo, no, he's like, I make a lot of women laugh. Shall I be trying to kiss them? No, there's a step to that. What he's saying is basically, if you're funny, if you're charming, women will like you and be comfortable around you. Does that mean you're going to be able to just up and kiss them? Now you might get maced, bro. Be careful with that. And you might get arrested. So it's part of the game. You got to still have your game. So just don't run up and go, oh, I made you laugh. You just kiss her. Don't do that.
And the number of men we're producing that qualify in this category is shrinking as women get, it's the high heels effect. Just as 50% of women say they won't date a man shorter than them. I bet it's 80%. They're just not as drawn to men who are smaller than them because it's very instinctual. I need someone who will protect my young. Metaphorically, women are getting taller every day. They're killing it.
Financially, education, intelligence, opportunities, resources.
Women are killing it. And it's amazing. We shouldn't do anything that gets in the way of that. The question is, how do we lift up men? Who wants more economically and emotionally viable men? Women.
Why are men not doing as well in today's society? And versus women continue to thrive, which is a great thing, but why aren't men thriving equally or at the same pace?
So I'm parroting Richard Reeves' great work of Boys to Men. There's a lot of reasons. Biologically, men mature later. Their prefrontal cortex is literally 18 to 24 months behind a girl's. So two seniors applying to college, a boy and a girl, 17-year-old boy and girl, essentially the girl is competing against a 15-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
So they think about school. What are the behaviors we promote in school? Be organized, be a pleaser, sit still. Basically, education is set up for girls.
I couldn't do it.
And there's a lot of shame when boys, just,
man, it's so challenging.
My 13-year-old, the idea of my 13-year-old sitting in still for an hour and a half and listening to French verbs, I think it's literally torture for him.
Yeah.
So they're biologically inferior. They're also emotionally and mentally less strong. While boys are physically stronger, they're emotionally and mentally much weaker. So we have the second most single family households in America as any country in the world. We're second to Sweden.
Wow.
And when we say single family home, single parent home, 92% of the time it's a mom. What's interesting is the girl in that household has similar outcomes: college attainment, self-harm. They seem to be doing just fine with just a single mother. A boy falls off the tracks. The moment he loses a male role model, he becomes much more likely to be incarcerated, addicted, or kill himself. It's also a really, really scary stat. 2 15-year-olds.
So, and he's about to get into stuff when they talk about, grape, which is that word that YouTube doesn't like. So I'm gonna pause it there, and we'll skip ahead a little bit. But he's going to say how you can, the numbers state that if you have 2 15-year-olds, one female, one male, and they go through the same type of abuse, that the female bounces back faster and doesn't seem to be as harmed, long term as the male. And it's stuff that they're talking about with not having men in the home. Like we hear this, we've heard this a million times from a billion people. It's like Scam is saying right now. Scam is like, oh, he has red pill talking points as a PhD. Here's the thing. Is it a red pill talking point or is it just facts? That it's just one of those things, bro. Like, yeah, there's a lot of craziness that comes from the red pill. Absolutely. You see some weird stuff over there, just like you see some weird stuff on the other side, like the blue pill world or whatever. But if you got two groups, you got a blue pill group and you got a red pill group. And the red pill group is saying 1 and 1 is 2. And the blue pill group is saying, well, 1 and 1 isn't necessarily 2. 1 and 1 is 5. Right. When you look at it, it's like, well, is math a red pill talking point? No, it's a fact. So, it just looks bad juxtaposed to people who are saying, well, it doesn't have to necessarily be that way. If you got one thing and someone gives you another thing, you got two things. That's just a fact. So what's going on now in society is the math that comes from the red pill, like the data that comes from the red pill, is being looked at by the blue pill side of the spectrum. It's being looked at by mainstream and academics. And they're like, yeah, we see this. We see the studies. Right. And then when I've had conversations with people who are deep in the red pill and I'm like, bro, I'll never get legally married in America. And they're like, why? I'm like, why would I do that, bro? You know the stats as well as I do. Yeah, but it's all about love and taking a chance and da-da-da. I'm like, bro, why am I? It's a horrible deal. I was talking to a dude who's worth millions and millions of dollars. I'm like, would you knowingly sign a deal that's going to cost you a third of your stuff? Knowing like it's a 50% chance you're going to lose a third of your stuff if you do this deal. And if it works, all it means is you get to keep the stuff that you currently have and pay a little bit more because you got this other person. You got more weight to pull. Is that a good deal financially? Well, no, it's not a good deal. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. So I tell people all the time, just be up on it. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Right? I say it all the time. If you see me get married in America, under American rules, under American law, trust and believe she is worth way more than me. And I'm not trying to take anything from her, but I'm not going to lose anything either. So we get into this thing and 7 years down the road, she start acting up or whatever, or she wants to leave. I don't care. But guess what? She's going to have to leave me very, very happy. She's going to have to be nice about it. Otherwise, we'll go to court and I'm going to get a third of her shit. Right? So that's the thing. It's a bad deal, right? Marriage is a bad deal in America for the person who has it versus the person who does not. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. I wanted to get past what he was saying. I just don't want to get in trouble for saying the grape word.
Per capita fighter pilots than male kindergarten teachers.
Wow.
There are just very few men in primary education. So you have a whole generation of boys who are growing up with absolutely no contact with men. And so when I think about what it means to be masculine, you take care of your stuff. You're together. You have a plan. You're kind. You have surplus value. You begin to take care of your family. You're a protector. You're a provider. You start to contribute to your community. I think the ultimate expression of masculinity, it's more a call for action, is for a man to get involved in the life of a kid that's not his. And there's especially a huge need for young boys. And my mom was always really good at this. Her boyfriend stayed in my life. I had a guy across the hall come over one day and introduce himself to my mom. And then the next weekend he came over and said, would your son like to learn how to horseback ride? And I used to go out to a ranch in Calabasas with this guy for the better part of 2 years, every other weekend. And he taught me how to ride a horse. Wow. And he talked to me about stuff. And the thing is, you don't have to be a baller. You just have to be a guy trying to live a virtuous life. And quite frankly, Michael Jackson and Catholic Church have screwed it up for these men because there's an air of suspicion when a young man wants to, or a man wants to get involved in a boy's life. Right. There's a feeling, well, what's wrong with him? And here's the thing. 99.9% of men have a feeling of paternal and fraternal love. Yes. And sometimes they don't have a place to give it yet. And what I would urge all men to do is there's an enormous cadre of young boys who need men in their life and aren't getting it.
And he made a great point there, man. Shout out to Scott Galloway. You know what I mean? Don DeMarco to him. Great point.
Don DeMarco.
Great point. You know, one of my neighbors is a young boy. He's in high school, and you know, my daughter goes to his high school. He's a senior, my daughter's a freshman. I've been just, you know, his kid's a neighbor. I see him walking around ROTC uniform. He walks around. So I saw him today. I was out, just out, and I saw him, and I was like, oh, I'm like, you know, look sharp. You know what I mean? Standing tall, looking good. I see you, bro. And because when I was saying, like, what's good, young brother? And I said, what grade are you in, man? He's like, well, I'm a senior. Like, oh, you ready for airborne school? And he's like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. But here's the thing. That interaction from an older man, a vet, here's a young kid, basically, you know, with a uniform on, and he's probably thinking about a career in the military. Maybe I really want to sit this kid down and talk to him. I don't mind, you know, maybe have him walk around with me. You know, it's a little white kid. That doesn't mean anything to me. I want to tell him about his options, tell him about air traffic control, tell him about all kind of stuff. Like, bro, you know, I just want to help, but I don't. Right. And that's what Galloway is talking about. I'm real hands off. You know, there's some stuff going on that I've seen around this young man. Is like, bro, I want to be away from that. It's a lot of mess, a lot of noise going on and at home over there. But at the same time, I want to help this young man. So how do you do that? Right. You know, male leadership is what's needed in our society to improve our society, to help our society grow. Like, you know, Scott Galloway talks about the red pill. He's aware of the red pill. And he says, okay, you're looking at the red pill. You don't like the message going on over there. But what do you have to offer in return, liberals? Right? They got Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's riding around $1 million car. He was a kickboxer. He's got all his money. He got all these women around him. They got Andrew Tate. Who do you have over here? Why would these young boys want to come talk to you over here? You're over here saying that your version of a good man is be more female. We're going to talk some more about Professor Gallo. I got to find that interview. He was talking about that. It's like the left's idea of the ideal man is to be more feminine. That is not the answer. Not the answer. Right? So, and then it ties it all the way back to what we started with the engagement ring, stuff like that, right? 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. Women tend to, like, most of the money that's paid out, the alimony, child support in the court system in America is paid from male to female, right? Most, you know, over 90% of the time, women are awarded custody of the children. Like, all this is bad. This is all bad. And certain states are fighting that, and certain changes are happening down the road, but it starts with the engagement ring. Why would you want to be involved in a system that's going to basically let someone take something from you? Like this, you know, like we got to have laws to make people do it the right way. You give somebody an engagement ring, the engagement doesn't go through, it fails, and now you got to fight to get the ring back. That should automatically go back to the fact that these states have to make law, case law, forcing, you know, people to do the right thing. And I tell guys all the time, like, man, look at this. This is just the beginning. How you think they're going to do you right when you 10 years into the relationship? How do you think they're going to do you when it's time to split up the assets? How do you think they're going to do you when it's time to, you know, get parenting time with your child, to be able to raise your child? How do you think they're going to do you? This is why guys are staying away from it. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to wrap it up there. But as far as engagement rings goes, guys, right, who gets to keep the ring? The person who bought it. I'm with that. Shout out to Massachusetts for coming up and making that case law. Hopefully it catches on with the other 49 states. You know, I hope the other states also catch on with the mandatory 50-50 custody. I hope that we put in like there should be child support caps for those who don't participate. Like there should be child support caps. You shouldn't be paying $50,000 a month in child support. I don't care how much money you make. That doesn't make any sense. You know, we'll get into that at a later date. Appreciate y'all rocking out with me. I appreciate y'all, you know, reaching out to me when I was hurting and I was down and I was out. I appreciate y'all looking out for old Uncle Saint. This was fun, man. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock, and we're gonna be. I'm not sure what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. I don't know. What we're gonna talk about tomorrow. We might talk politics. We might talk relationships. We might talk finance. Like what's gonna happen? What happens if Trump does, in fact, use tariffs in the way that he says he's going to do it? Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll talk about that. What happens to the American financial system? What happens to the American people if there's a tariff war between America and the rest of the world? I'll give you a hint. Americans are going to hurt. If there's a 25% tariff, Trump is talking about 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada. Right, the vast majority of our fruits and vegetables come from Mexico. There's a lot of stuff that's up in Canada, other than maple syrup. But if it's a 25% tariff placed on those goods and services, who's going to pay that? The average American is going to pay that. That comes right down to the point of sale. Period. So maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was fun. I can't wait to see y'all tomorrow. Again, we're here Monday through Thursday, and I'm probably going to start doing stuff on the weekends just to kind of make up for the time that was lost when I was down. And of course, when I do the stuff in the car, when I say what I say, I'm gonna post that as well. But I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for rocking out with me. I'm DL Saint. This is That Really Want to Know podcast. I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.